Good morning, this is Kris Shoemaker, also known as Yehudah ben Shomeyr, and you're listening to Coffee with Kris, the time of the day where we share a cup of coffee and share a bit of the Word of God. It's a new week, therefore it's a new Torah portion. This is the Torah portion in Deuteronomy called Tetze, which means when you go out. It's taken from Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 10, going all the way to chapter 25, verse 19. Today's Sidra, today's Aliyah is Deuteronomy chapter 21, verses 10 through 21. And I entitle this devotional, The Mooch. It says in verse 18, "Suppose a man has a stubborn and rebellious son who does not listen to the voice of his father or mother. They discipline him, but he does not listen to them. Then his father and his mother are to grab hold of him, bring him out to the elders of the city, to the gate of his place. They will say to the elders of the city, 'This son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He does not listen to our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard.' Then all the men of the city are to stone him with stones to death. So you are to purge the evil from your midst, and all Israel will hear and be afraid." No question about it, this passage probably ruffles the feathers of our Western sensibilities. But I need to remind the listener that the death penalty was extremely, extremely rare in Israel. They rarely carried out a death sentence on anyone. It is said by the rabbis and sages, if there are more than two executions within a year that's been decreed by the Sanhedrin, that is the Jewish Supreme Court, then that is a bloodthirsty, evil Sanhedrin. So basically, it was extremely rare. A lot of these commandments and the penalties for these that have been put in place were just enough, to keep a godly fear in people, that it kept them from a lot of these extreme cases and extreme things. But we know that there, extreme cases do come up, and therefore God has made provision for them in His Word. So in verse 18 it says, "Suppose a man has a stubborn and rebellious son who does not listen to the voice of his father or mother. They discipline him, but he does not listen to them." Now this is an adult child living under the roof of their parents, because it says in verse 20 that he is a glutton and a drunkard. Just like the prodigal son, he's wasting his family fortune on food and whiskey and wild, wild women, right? This would be today's equivalent of a 30-something living in the basement of his parents' house, not working, not having a job, just eating pizzas and drinking sodas all day while he's playing video games. That's kind of like what this is talking about in a modern-day equivalent. So this adult child is responsible for his own actions, but since he is not on his own and is willingly living with his parents, he is living under their roof, therefore living under their authority and under their rules. Now, a son of this age, back in the biblical times, should be helping and supporting his elderly parents, because guess what? There was no governmental welfare system. The parents were dependent upon the child when the child got older to take care of them. We even see Yeshua from the cross making sure that his mother is taken care of before he dies. So let me go to Mark chapter 7, verses 6 through 13. It says, "And he said to them," this is Yeshua, saying to the religious Jews, "Rightly did Isaiah prophesy about you hypocrites, as it is written, the people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me, and in vain they worship me, teaching doctrines, the commandments of men. Having left behind the commandment of God, you hold on to your traditions." So you're putting your traditions and your traditional commandments and edicts above God's, is basically what this is saying. Verse 9, "He also was telling them, you set aside the commandments of God in order that you may validate your own tradition. For Moses said, honor your father and your mother, and he who speaks evil of his father or mother must be put to death. But you say," your rules that you're putting above God says this, telling his father or mother, "Whatever you might have gained from me," in other words, my support for you is korban, which means that it is an offering to God. I'm sorry I can't help you. I'm choosing a higher road. I'm supporting God. I'm giving what I would have given to you, I would have given to God. Verse 12, "Then you no longer permit him to do anything for his father or mother, making void the word of God by your tradition that you have handed down. You do many such things." So, God is saying, look, I don't need your money. You know, if you're an adult and your parents are elderly, you need to support them. You need to be a good son. You can't be a mooch. You can't live off them. They raised you until you were an adult, and now it's time to return the favor. So verse 19 in Deuteronomy chapter 21 is talking about bringing the son to the gates. Now, the gates of the city was where court was held for that community. And so that's what it's talking about, basically taking the son to court. And it talks about how the parents are accusing the son of being stubborn and rebellious, being a glutton and a drunkard. This sounds a whole lot like the prodigal son that we read in the Gospel of Luke. Now, verse 21, it says, "Then all the men of the city are to stone him with stones to death. So you are to purge the evil from your midst, and all Israel will hear and be afraid." Death penalty was a major deterrent. Well, if this happened to this guy because he did this, then I'm not going to do that because I don't want that happening to me. So it's life for life. He neglects his parents by not providing for them and taking care of them, therefore slowly killing them. And so it is returning kind that the death penalty is given to him because he is an unrepentant, because he had chance after chance after chance, time and time again. His parents said, straighten up, fly straight, straighten up, fly straight. He wouldn't. It got to the point where they couldn't take it anymore. They took him to the courts, took him to the elders. They laid the death penalty on him because he was unrepentant and he would not change. He was stubborn, rebellious, a drunkard, and a glutton. So it shows, that when somebody is unrepentant, there's really not much you can do. So if you are a parent in a situation such as this, and your child is mooching off you, and you know that they can make a living for themselves, they're able-bodied, be that tough mother bird and just kick that baby bird out of the nest. It's time for that baby bird to spread its wings and fly and to go out on their own. You know, hopefully you raised them right and equipped them, and now it's up to them. They can't be mooching off you. You got a fixed income, you got bills and stuff to pay. This is called tough love. There's not enough tough love shown our children in today's society. Guys, thanks so much for listening. Go out there and have a great day. Shalom, and God bless.